the real one, not the actor. He's a pretty amazing person, so I figured I'd bring him on, and it's a pleasure to have you, man. Would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're about and how you got to this point in life?
Oh man, I appreciate that. A little bit about myself. Shit, I mean, there's a lot about myself.
Well, where are
Depends
you
on.
from?
Uh, Mostly, I'm from Rome, New York. I spent most of my life there. A little bit in Oneida, like when I was like a wee baby, and like maybe a little bit in like a shelter with my mother. But mostly, I grew up in Rome, New York.
Nice.
Yep.
Is
And
that
then I
close to New York, New York?
no, it's like if you were to put a dot in the middle of New York State. That's where that is. It's between Syracuse and Utica, New York. It's where they had Woodstock 99 and everything went to crap on the Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, do you currently stay there now? Where are you at now?
No, I am currently in the like capital district near Albany.
Okay. Albany, what state's that in?
It's in New York.
Oh, okay.
The capital of New York actually. It's not New York City even though you might think a lot of people might think it is, but Albany is actually the capital of New York.
Oh, I learned something.
Right.
So, maybe tell us a little bit about your journey lately. I know you've been through a lot of stuff. I've been watching you on Facebook, and it's been really quite amazing to see like the things that you were doing. Like, not everybody's doing that awesome stuff, you know?
I appreciate that. Depends on which awesome stuff in particular, some of which you'd like to know about.
Well, um, I suppose uh, you got into music. What got you into music and playing instruments?
Okay, a few things. I didn't have a lot of friends or anything growing up, really. So I had a lot of free time and alone time in my life. And I had a lot of maybe things I was in general looking to, fill the time of or escape the loneliness of. And music is a good, healthy thing to turn to. And then also, it's like a little bit beyond that. Just my grandfather and my mother and just people love music. Music is pretty awesome, I think. But my grandfather would be watching some concerts back when I was growing up, and he had a big screen TV, back in the time, before everyone had the flat screen TVs and the big screen TV, took up a good chunk of, space. And he had a nice Bose surround sound system, and he was watching a Billy Joel concert one day, and I thought that looked pretty cool. And I said, "That's awesome. I would like to do that. I bet I could do that." So I started learning piano, and like I was already playing cello for a few years in school. That's the only instrument that I really was like formally for years taught to play and can read sheet music for. But so I started playing piano, and I kind of had fiddled around with guitar a little bit in some like guitar ensemble stuff in some school, but mostly it was like I think what it was same thing to deal with my grandfather. I was watching a Pink Floyd concert with him, the Pulse concert, and I was like, "That's really awesome." The guitar stuff. I'm like, I would like to, and I bet I could probably do that. So I started learning guitar, and that's pretty much how that all happened. And I just learned a few other things along the way I thought were fun.
Well, I'm glad you did, brother, because you're really good at it.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying.
Well, that's awesome. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about your journey across the country and what sparked it all.
Uh, well, I've been across this country a few times. Just in general, like, I've got an adventurous spirit. and I love America, and I'm just trying to see and participate in this world, in this existence. And also, it's like I've gotten plenty of experience in New York, and I've got plenty of trauma in New York. And especially in the winter, it's cold and miserable, anyways. So, mostly at one point back in 2012, I think was the first time ish, late 2011, start of 2012. I had gotten sick of New York, had lost a job, and I pretty much took my last paycheck and bought a one-way ticket to Los Angeles because I was thinking, where is the best place to plan to be homeless? And I considered New York City, and I was like, it's still New York. There's the winter, and like I had idealized the thought of New York City and romanticized it growing up. And yeah, it's cool. It's a nice place to visit and hang out, and it's got Broadway and Times Square and all that great stuff. And it's iconic, but it's a little much for me. Kind of too much in a lot of places. Smells like piss and garbage. And don't get me wrong, maybe Skid Row in LA is similar, but New York is rough. And then I'm not a fan of the fact also that it's just you look all around you and you can't really see the skyline most of the time because it's just skyscrapers all around you. So that was a no go. And Florida seemed kind of nice, but then I'm like, hurricanes and it like rains daily, even if it's only for like a little while, but it's still raining daily. The humidity sucks, the snakes and the lizards. So there were a lot of things I took into consideration, and also, my love of music, and I also went to school for radio and like TV and film broadcasting. So I was like, how about California and Los Angeles for a good number of reasons, including mostly also the weather and the lack of hurricanes and rain and alligators and pythons and stuff.
That's pretty awesome. What have you learned along the way? I just seen you've been like going to these awesome, amazing sites and seeing all these cool places, being on the beach of the ocean. You're doing all things that I want to do. But I know that I do realize it takes a big risk and balls to do that. So what gave you the urge and the balls to actually get up and do that?
So it's a lot of things. It's like just believing in myself and my adventurous spirit, and just like, you know, thinking that there's more for me, somewhere beyond just staying somewhere I don't want to be and working a job I don't want to be working to live somewhere I don't really care to be and stuff. And it's like maybe the choices I've made are difficult at times and don't make sense to people. Like the first time I went out there, I had someone, my aunt, I think, offered me to pay me back the money I spent on my ticket if I just stayed. And it's like maybe, I was worried. Maybe people were also worried that I would go out there and die, get murdered on the streets or, whatever. But I went out there the first time and it was like the best choice I ever made for myself in my life. It was better than going to college, better than any job I've ever gotten or anything really. Like it was, good for my soul, and I love that place. It's the weather, it's the environment, it's being away from toxic people who don't appreciate me and take advantage of me and make me doubt myself as a human. Like it's a really enriching, fulfilling experience. And the first time I was out there, I was having a good time. But the reason I actually came back to New York, I've been to back and forth a few times. The first time I came back to New York was because my 8-year-old brother had gotten diagnosed with two types of leukemia, and his make a wish was to come out to California to see me. So my whole family came out there, and he was supposed to have 6 months to live. So I came back to New York with my family to help prepare funeral arrangements and, just spend time with them and take care of them. Unfortunately, he died 2 weeks after I came back, and
Oh
that
man.
really sucked. and I got stuck again in New York for about 10 years before I finally again got back to California. But mostly it's like the things I've learned in life are that I'm trying to make it be a balance between taking care of me and what I need, but also trying to be a good person and taking care of my friends and family, but also, not being taken advantage of while also trying not to take advantage of other people.
Yeah,
Is
just being a good person, right?
Yeah, it's mostly what I've gotten out of the whole ordeal is exactly like, don't start none, don't won't be none, and hopefully, I think there's mostly good karma. It seems like, when I do good things and stuff, mostly good things happen to and for me. And like, I see other people not doing so good, and I see not good things happening in their lives, whether it's because they just attract negative people or be like inviting that drama into their lives. But yeah, it's just trying to enjoy this life and relax and just and love, is mostly, I think, the point of it all, give or take.
Yeah, definitely. So I
And that
noticed I seen you out there jamming with other people. You participated in other bands and stuff like that out there?
I have played music on and off with a whole lot of people. I've jammed with random people. There was a time in my life I was in like 4 or 5 bands at one point. It was like two original bands and an oldies band and like a rock slash metal band. Um, and then I was like on the side trying to like someone had asked me and some friends to start like a Tom Petty tribute band that we momentarily tried to do, and then I was trying to start my own other side project, and it was a whole time. But then, life kind of happens and things whittled down, and I kind of prioritized, and life kind of prioritized the one band, Mutt Farm. And I joined that band as the keyboard player. And my friend Mark Keel was the founder of that band. He wrote all the music. He was the acoustic guitar player and the singer, and unfortunately, he got sick and was having some issues singing, so I had to start singing for him. And then that turned out to be lung cancer, I think it was allegedly. And he ended up dying and leaving the band and music essentially to me, and telling me to carry it on and not let it die. And that's what I've been mostly trying to do for a good few years, while also trying to remember who I am as an individual and as a musician, because I love his music and I love the band. But like maybe at times they're not quite as mobile and on the road as in other states as I am and would like to be, or whatever. you know and maybe there's a lot of things musically that I like to do with that I'm diverse about, and maybe life is complicated sometimes, but that's mostly what I'm trying to do. Is I just love music. I love having good times. I love the dudes in my band, and that's also a good part of the reason, like apart from honoring my dead friend and what he wanted. It's like I love the dudes who are in the band with me, and I respect them as people and musicians, and I enjoy giving them an opportunity to show the world what they can do.
Yeah, I played with a few people too. I actually play instruments myself, but I noticed that when you jam with someone, you build a connection unlike any other connection you can build with a human. There's something special there, you know?
It's definitely one of the more unique experiences you can have with an individual. I really, yeah, like I've played like on and off with some people, but yeah, I really haven't, like, since my friend Mark died. I really haven't, yeah, just spent like hours on end just like jamming with someone who just clicked with me quite like that. I really, really understand and respect those unique bonds that people get to make with music or anything in life, but music is definitely a good one of them.
Yeah, definitely. So I was hoping maybe later on in the show you could probably play some music for us, but in the
Oh,
meantime, we could take continue to move along the journey here, and maybe you could tell us a little bit more about you. And have you ever had any paranormal experiences in your life?
Paranormal. I'm not necessarily sure about paranormal per se. Maybe a little bit, maybe not. I mean, it could be paranormal, it could just be malfunctioning electronics. Like after my little brother died, there were like some toys that would occasionally like go off in his room, or like, the strobe lights on some toys would go off, or they would make sounds, and it's like, maybe that's some paranormal stuff. Maybe that was just malfunctioning electronics. I'm not 100% sure. I can't say 100% either way, but possibly, but
Well,
nothing major and definitive.
ever see a UFO?
That I feel more like I've seen a UFO. In fact, there was a festival. It was this like really clear night, like no clouds in the sky at all. One of the probably even the clearest night I've ever seen in my life, and I could see the stars and everything and the blackness around them. And there was this really funky thing in the sky that was like shimmering like a disco ball. That was real funky like. And I looked at this thing for a long time, and it was just kind of like way off in the distance, up, down, sideways, here and there, a little bit all around the square. And I was wondering, am I insane? But I'm like, no, I know what I'm seeing. This is 100% legitimate. Like, like even if I've been like, acid or something, like, I know what's going on, like I'm not losing my damn mind, and I take pride in, being a responsible adult, even when I'm, you know, maybe smoking weed or something, But yeah, so I went and I gathered some people actually and brought them to look at this thing with me. And I'm pretty sure we all concluded that that was a UFO, and someone even made a painting about that thing. And it did its thing for a good long while. And then at one point, I looked away briefly, looked back, and then it was just gone after being there for like an hour or two. So there was that. I've definitely seen another thing or two, including one time I was driving, I think it was down to Florida at the time. And in the sky, I saw this, what looked like this white oval type pillbox cigar shape type deal that was over here. And then it was over there. And that seemed pretty UFO like to me. And then one time I saw this shadow of what looked like this. I could be mistaken. It wasn't a UFO, but what looked like it could have been almost maybe a dinosaur esque bird. But I thought it was literally the shadow of an airplane at first. It was so large. And then it flapped its wings. Yeah. And it had this like whole deal with its tail that was like all jutted out, but that's a whole other time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had experiences myself, and I think most of my viewers have too. So it's really that's what lights me up is to hear that I'm not alone. That other people are having these experiences as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there are definitely probably extraterrestrials. I don't know if they're one thing or a mix of things. Like, I don't know if they're interdimensional beings or just beings from a different part of space, or us from the future, or if they're like robot droids, or if they're organic beings. But whatever it is, I'm pretty sure that there are some organizations or governments, or organizations within the government, or that have control over the governments, that have more of an idea what's going on than we do, or let us know about. And that's a whole criminal conspiracy in and of itself. And I'm pretty sure like our government has video evidence of extraterrestrial craft in the air, in coming out of and going into the water.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so I know you touched on the psychedelic experiences. Have you ever had any profound things happening uh, while you're on psychedelics?
So, not necessarily profound in like blasting off to another dimension of consciousness, even with DMT, sadly. But definitely like the first time I did mushrooms was a very important spiritual time for me, and it helped with, and I would even say healed and fixed a lot of trauma that I don't even know otherwise how I would have coped with from like just stuff I experienced growing up and some maybe what you would call abuse and just some terrible things in general. But yeah, mushrooms definitely helped like fix me as a person and helped fix some really fucked up thoughts I was having. So I'm grateful for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've had experience with mushrooms too a couple years ago, and after that, my world changed. I never went back. It's like once you go through that, it literally builds brand new neural pathways in your brain, and that's what's so profound about it. And it makes you grateful for being able to come back from that too. Because when you're tripping, sometimes you're like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be like this forever," and
Yeah.
you know. But then
Yep.
when you come back, you're so much happier. Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to share about that?
Uh, mostly it's, I mean, there's a lot of things I could say about a lot of different drugs, and it's like it depends on the drug, and it's like, what even is a drug? It's like, is sugar a drug? Probably. Sugar is mostly terrible for your teeth, for your health. That's the whole thing. The food that they serve you, but psychedelics and stuff like, you know, what we normally consider drugs, I guess. I would mostly advise use them sparingly and try to, use them with reverence and not just like for funsies or like every weekend because you're partying and you just want to get fucked up. And mostly if you're doing drugs or psychedelics, behave like an adult and don't be like not aware of where you are and what you're doing or how to treat people calmly and with respect and don't be full of rage. And maybe if you're full of rage and stuff, you shouldn't be doing drugs like that and like alcohol, especially and stuff. Like, I hate alcohol. I hate the taste of alcohol. I hate the effects of alcohol. I hate drunk people and how they behave. I hate how it makes people get things that they or not even be aware of things that they were literally present for. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of alcohol too, and I've acted in ways that I normally wouldn't do, and I regretted it.
Yep.
It
I
was
was.
mostly because I was abusing it instead of just using it, a drink here and there. So
Yeah, like
yeah,
I mean, maybe you want to give me like a pina colada on the beach, sure, but yeah, I'm not gonna like like yeah get trashed or like be like stumbling around or like blacking out or passing out places I don't intend to and stuff or like uh but that fucking crack is whack, meth is whack, fucking heroin is whack, PCP is whack. There's a whole lot of drugs people shouldn't even like consider, fucking fentanyl, whatever. And it's like, a lot of this is also, where are these drugs coming from and what countries are these drugs coming from and how are these drugs getting here? Makes me wonder. And it's like, because are people really trying to kill their customers? I don't know. There's a whole lot of questions. And where's the money coming from and going with the governments and the drug cartels? And those are whole things. Mostly, it's like I wish people would just mostly stick to weed, if anything, and that would probably be okay. But like, even I tell you what, like 100% sobriety, I know it's rough. I know it's a hard prospect sometimes, but it's not impossible. And maybe that would be the best life for us all. And we should work on living lives that we're not trying to escape with. drugs or gambling or meaningless sexual encounters and other vices and distractions. But these are just thoughts and ideas.
I tend to agree with you on most of that too. And don't forget, big pharma is a big part of this too.
Facts.
Because that's one for me. That was how I got involved in drugs. I was an opiate addict for years. Doctor gave it to me. I felt like it was okay. I'm supposed to do this, and guess what? It fucked my life up. And it took years to repair from that and recover from that. And I've watched so many people I know actually die, from because of what big pharma sparked, into their life. So it's not only careful to be careful what you do on the streets, but be careful what the doctor is prescribing you. Just because the doctor says, "Here, this is your medicine," doesn't always mean it's good for you. You have to have discernment too. Question your doctor is what it comes down to.
A lot of times, like, just the medicines are just like poison, anyways, and they don't really actually treat what's wrong with you. They just treat the symptoms or, mask the symptoms. And they oftentimes just give you all new problems, or, like, God forbid, like, maybe there's, some things that just aren't even helpful anyways, and they're just trying to, push on you to make money or for whatever nefarious reasons they have. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like big pharma. I don't even like taking really ibuprofen or a Tylenol unless, I'm in like dire need. And even then I'm still like, I wish I didn't have to and I don't want to.
Yeah, and it's not only big pharma, it's like you mentioned earlier, the food, the water, everything. It's like, how do you find a way around it? Ah! Then
Amen. Fluoride in the water, all the what they even call food. And it's like, I feel bad because, growing up, my mother, you didn't have a whole lot of money, and maybe she wasn't raised in a way that taught her, really, what was going on. It's like exactly like a lot of the things that are cheap and that they just put on the shelves and say, here, feed this to yourselves and your kids. It's like a lot of it I don't even think can be described as food. It's just like all of these ingredients that are like, are they ingredients? Like, is that really food, or is it just chemicals and compounds and binders and fillers and nonsense that you're using to make a buck while you're literally pumping poison into actual human beings? And what is wrong with people?
it's so true. Why do we need an ingredient list this long on a package of, something so simple like cereal?
Yep. Uh,
So, yeah. Um,
hello,
I
everyone
guess,
who's watching.
yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I will be adding a Cash App link in the comments. Jamie, feel free to do so as well. It's always good to, get paid for
I could
sharing your wisdom.
definitely do that. I appreciate that. It definitely goes a long way. Yeah, it's the I mean, you want to talk more about getting paid for your wisdom, for your talents and stuff. Talk some more about the music business. So that's had its ups and downs over the years. It's the same job wherever I go and do the music. But it's one of those deals where like, you got to go where you're valued, because for the same job sometimes people will expect it for free or for the bare minimum, or be like, here's $50, and these same people want to charge you like $3,000 to rent a stage. And it's like, are you serious? But the same exact work will other places get my band and I hundreds of dollars and treated very kindly, and fed, and given a drink. And it kind of hurts my soul a little bit as a musician, because it's like my grandfather was a musician, and I hear stories about like how it used to be. And like bands a lot of times were like bar gigs got paid back in his day more than my band has pretty much ever gotten paid for a bar gig. And even though I don't drink, like just the respect of a bar saying, here, boys, here's a shot before your show, good luck. And it's like, I'm not sure that that's maybe I think like one bar, maybe two we've ever played at has been like, you guys can have a free drink or some free drinks at all, much less, like, here's a free shot, cheers. And it's like just the laziness of people sometimes too, even in advertising. Like they go, they book a band and then it's like they'll have a marquee in front of their bar or something, and they won't even put that they have live music there. And it's like, do people not even think sometimes? It's a strange world, and the music business has been a strange business. I like music. I'm not a big fan of the business part.
That makes sense too. I totally can relate that to just like going to a convenience store or a gas station to buy your water, or going to an actual grocery store to get water. You're going to pay three times more for the convenience of it, you know? So that's all part of it, the convenience. And I think business probably takes advantage of that in music as well. Is it convenient for them to just come up on our stage, or they're going to have to put a little more effort into it, you know?
It's a lot of things sometimes. Yep, it's a real strange time. And then a lot of times, like the biggest I've had is shows that I've played for like nothing or next to nothing. And then I've had issues in the future with where it goes back to again the adults who do like drugs and they can't handle them right, so they act real rude. And then, for example, turn my band away after driving hours after renting a U-Haul to get to their show. Or just like booking my band and forgetting they booked my band, but not forgetting they booked my friend's band who didn't even really have a band and had to rent myself and my bass player, for their band. And it's like, you know what? Like, this is business. Like, and I'm like, these people are older than me. Like, where is the professionalism? Where is the knowing what you're doing or treating people kindly or like so much of anything? Then it's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it all out, and I'm just trying to be a good dude and make good music, and hopefully along the way we make money for the gas to get to the show so we can get to them and put strings on the guitars, you know. Uh,
Are you looking for band members and people to reach out to you and maybe form some kind of music constructive stuff?
you know, that's a good question, and it's like, part of me sometimes wants to explore other music venues and stuff, but or avenues, maybe more than venues, but anyways. But I've kind of got my band Mutt Farm at the moment on standby because I left them hanging in the middle of New York, and also I kind of usually tend to take a winter break anyways, more so. But I left them hanging back in central New York, and I came out to Albany way to be with and chase after this beautiful lady who said she loved me. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and I don't know. I've been writing some songs here and there and stuff, but I don't know that I'm really looking to like form a new musical project at the moment. Like I barely have time to even do anything else at the moment. I'm working two jobs currently, and neither of them I really even like. They're all right. They're good. They're helpful for my soul, and maybe they're even helping give me some more muscle tone. But
Well,
mostly
hey,
I miss the freedom of the good old rock and roll California lifestyle.
well, I gotta tell that lady, snatch him up while you can. He's awesome.
I appreciate that. Uh, yeah, it's a time. She did snatch me up, and then some things kind of went a little bit funky. But I have mostly faith, and the universe. Like I said, I do good things, and the universe will take care of me, and I think things will play out exactly like they're meant to.
I noticed, it seems that you believe in yourself, and that's the biggest thing because if you don't believe in yourself, how could you ever expect someone else to, right?
Exactly, and like been one of my biggest hurdles in life is everyone else because they instill like doubt in me about myself. And exactly, like I'm the only one who's really like been there for me no matter what. And it's like I've never, you know, like, you know, told people I've, done things to them that I haven't done or done things to other people that I haven't done. I've never tried to sabotage my own life. All I've ever done is tried to help myself and help the people that I care about. So, it's like, yeah, I really feel that it's a time, and that's one of the biggest challenges in life is, surrounding yourself with people who respect you and appreciate you and see your value and who don't take advantage of you and your kindness and your forgiveness and make you, question doing good things. Like if you're doing bad, like, you know, if I have things to be questioned about, absolutely, like I believe I'm one of the most people try to tell me all the time, you have no accountability. But I'm pretty sure I question myself more than almost anyone. And not only do I question myself, I constantly question my own friends about the things that I'm doing and have done. I post on the internet openly about the things that I'm doing and have done. Like I am like so self-aware, and I am so definitely accountable for the things that I have done. And I've even had people try to make me accountable for things I haven't done. So it kind of like makes me like laugh, but also hurt deep down inside when people are like, you don't even know accountability. Fucking, and it's like I could give these people fucking a lecture on accountability, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've noticed in life there's really two kinds of people. There's in your life. It's either people that are going to drain your gas tank or people that are going to fill your gas tank. You know?
Mostly factual. But then there's also sometimes people who are like a little bit of both. And like we all have that in us. And, sometimes we can have rough moments. But I think the most important thing is that they're trying, or at least that they're aware. And even if they're like making mistakes, that they try to, you know, be better about what they're doing with either their own lives or the way that they're treating other people or the way they're treating you. Because it's like that's what makes you either grow or not grow until the day you die is, are you trying to be a better, kinder human being, or are you just being bitter and being reckless and selfish and just like me. And it's like, I'm not saying you're not important, but it's like, yeah, you don't get very far. And it's like it just doesn't really help if everyone's about themselves. Like, yeah, you got to be about you, but also, yeah, think of the bigger picture and, maybe find someone to love and grab onto that person and freaking make a bigger picture together or something. But yeah, it's like all growing up and, here, getting into the music and festival scene, everyone's, all like love and family and unity and stuff. And it's like, and I tried to be that, and I got so many, like, I tried to introduce myself to people who wouldn't even like give me the time of day because they were like, who is this guy, before, people started to know me. And it's like, yeah, where's the family or love or community and any of that? Or like people who I
Yeah.
would, book shows with, and then they wouldn't like, book me for their shows. And it's like, whereas, but they book themselves to open for their own shows. And I'm like, okay.
Well, the fact is, some people out there are psychopaths, and some people out there are narcissists, and that's just a fact of the matter. But for the most part of the people that do decide to include themselves in your life, you can share the mutual love. And I've also noticed that it's not always about them. I've noticed in my life, I've noticed that I have judged people wrongly for bringing me information about myself, and I didn't want to look at myself. And later on down the road, I looked at it and realized, well, I guess they were right. Maybe I should listen to people more often. It comes down to even you can learn from a baby. So whether the person's good or bad, you can still learn from them. That's the way I see the value in it.
Facts. Exactly. Like That exactly. I'm not perfect, and I am well aware of that. I am human. I am flawed. I can be wrong. I can make mistakes. And
And
exactly, if
that's
I make a
okay.
mistake, if I'm wrong, I hope you let me know. I hope to learn. I hope you, educate me. I hope to be better. Amen. Yep, I'm not trying to be ignorant, and I hope, no one else is. I hope everyone's trying to, grow and know more and be better and do better. You know, be the
It take
be all you
it
can
take
be.
it takes a lot to do that though, especially for some people who think they know it all, you know? And I was that person, and sometimes I still find myself being that person, but you gotta whip out the fishing rod and reel yourself back in, you know?
Amen.
So yeah, we got like, I don't know, I figure we go like an hour. How long do you want to jam for?
Oh man, how long do you want me to
It's up to you. I figure we'd probably keep that
jam?
podcast around an hour, not too long. So we
Well,
got 20 minutes.
I'll tell you what, how about we maybe talk for another 5, 6 minutes, and I'll fill up some time with some music after that.
All right. I seen you have a nice roll in that thing's pretty nice. Is that electric piano or is that a keyboard?
It's a beautiful keyboard, and this is actually definitely the nicest instrument that I've ever gotten in my life. And I want to shout out my drummer Tim, who actually got this for me and came all the way to California last year to bring it to me. Um, this thing is beautiful. This thing is awesome, and he's a good dude, And what he went through to like get the money even to get this keyboard, my heart breaks for that man because this man had to go through a whole lawsuit because he lost his wife, unfortunately. And here's some, will break away from my life and stuff, and it's like I've had my own, health things, but just in general, here's some health things in life. His wife had a gastric bypass surgery and they messed it up. And part of her intestines ended up dying, and she had complications and ended up going septic and dying from sepsis because of that. And my drummer had to spend a whole lot of years fighting the hospital and fighting to get a lawsuit to even begin to make amends for the loss of his wife. I've had a lot of issues with some hospitals in my life, and so have a lot of people I care about. Maybe people should be thoughtful about things going on in the healthcare field, and like that could be a whole hour long discussion, I'm sure, with you know probably people more qualified than myself. But I've got my own horror stories, and I see some things that are going on, and I question some things, and like the whole a lot of things in life, even that sound great on the surface level, but then you dig and you're like, is it really as great as it sounds? Like organ donation, you're like, yeah, great, awesome, helpful. But then it's like, the more research you do, it's like, are they harvesting organs from people who could possibly be saved or who could live healthy lives? I've definitely seen enough stories like that, including they were going to pull the plug on and harvest the organs from this one kid, dude, whatever, how old he was. And his father literally like barricaded himself in the hospital and had a standoff with the staff and police. And his son woke up from a coma he wasn't supposed to, wake up from, and they were going to totally harvest his organs. And it's like, maybe I get it. You want to be helpful and, donate your organs and stuff. But, maybe there's people who are just trying to steal your organs and make money. And it's not really about saving a life if they're going to murder a life to save a different life. Um, it's just
That
like the whole
that's
lot of
what's
the
that's what's scary though, is like you putting a price tag on a human and their body parts, and that's what you're doing when you put that little orange dot on your license, you know? Like I wish there
yeah.
was a way I wish there was a way around it to make it more safer.
Goodbye, Flicks Love, whoever you are. I'm glad you were here. But yes,
Yeah.
that little orange dot. Miss me with that orange dot.
Yeah. But what it comes down to though is really humans are the most valuable thing on the planet. And I've been learning this because I used to be very antisocial and I've been traumatized by people, but I've been learning to like just bring people in like I'm doing with you right now and I'm doing with other people. And by showing people that there are other people that love and care about other people, it ripples in the pond and becomes the ocean, you know?
Factual. And yeah, I don't know. I know we've had like 45 minutes already, and it's like I feel like my brain is just so sporadic and I bounce all over the place. And I've got so much to say and talk about, and I don't know if I ever really hit on anything like really as deeply or as much or all the things I want to. And I
Well,
hope
if
people
you
understand,
if
but I appreciate people like you giving me the time to like even just for a moment try to get some of the thoughts, out of my head and to the world.
Yeah, and if you really want to express stuff longer, we can go longer. There's no time limit. I just assumed an hour would be good, but if you got stuff to say, feel free to say it.
I appreciate that. Maybe we'll go another extra minute or two, but I'll try to keep it an hour, be nice and respectful to the both of us and maybe keep more for the future. And maybe that's,
Yeah,
part of what keeps everything going too. But also it's like I feel also when I speak, it's not quite as eloquent as I would like it to be sometimes, or if I write things, my thoughts are a lot more clear and concise than sometimes when I'm speaking, or I feel like maybe I don't think I'm getting like interview jitters, but maybe in retrospect, I watch some interviews and I'm like, oh man, like
I
I see.
think I think you're doing great. To be honest, I like you got a nice tempo. You got a clear, soft voice. I mean, you're doing perfect in my opinion.
I appreciate that because like I'm mostly chill, but I'm also at the same time like so thinking that I'm screwing everything up all the time. uh,
Nope, not
you know,
possible. You can
yeah,
never screw up being you.
I appreciate that. uh, well, what do you say? Would you like some music in your life?
Yeah, do you get to do something original or are you going to do a cover?
Up to you. I could do maybe a bit of both.
I love original. Original's the best in my opinion.
And I don't do my own stuff very often because, like, even though, like, my band stuff is, original music, it wasn't necessarily, written by me per se. Although that is the next damn best thing. I do love that man's music and the music that we play, and that's, part of, I fell in love with the music before it ever became my band. I fell in love with him and that music.
I love it.
Ooh, as I smash my guitar around, don't mind me. I'm a little bit rough with my things sometimes.
Hey, it's be comfortable, whatever you want to play, man. Enjoy the show, folks.
Okay, maybe I'll even stand for
Sounds
that.
it sounds great already.
Okay, so this is a song I wrote. I'm not even sure if it's got a title. I guess maybe like Another Day. I don't know. It's the dawn of a brand new day to come out and play. I know hand in hand, side by side, there's no reason for us to hide. Just another day. It's the dawn find my way. When there's a man I've learned, words absurd. I wonder how you can stand it. It's another day. It's just another day. It's the dawn of a brand new day. Million things to change. Like how grown and weak and die. Metal rain falling from the sky. It's just another day. It's just another day. It's another, just another day. Just another day.
That was awesome. I got to be honest, the sound was kind of messing up a little bit, but I could still hear it. I think maybe if you're a little closer, it might help. But wow, you got some amazing skills there.
I appreciate that. Uh, Now I'll play you maybe some piano. How's that?
I'm
How's that coming through? Is that all right?
seems like it. Just go for it. That's all we can really do, right?
Anyways, these days pass me by like cool breeze in a mountain sky. The clouds are lifting and I've seen my way. I thank the Lord I found myself again. Paradise is fruit there for my picking, for my picking. I don't want to spend my whole life wishing. You see your way, I'll see mine, I'll see mine. I hope you don't think it's a waste of time. It's not the money or big red lights, screaming fans or limo rides. It's come full circle and I'll play my prize. Thought I was done, but I compromised. Paradise fruit there for my picking, for my picking. I don't want to spend my whole life wishing. You see your way, I'll see mine, I'll see mine. I hope you don't think it's a waste of time. Paradise is fruit for Vincent's picking, for your picking. I don't want to spend my whole life wishing. will see your way, I'll see mine, I'll see mine. Hope you don't think it's a waste of time. Pouring down from mountain skies and soak them up until I'm dry. What's been created is not my form. Green grass peace are knocking at my door. Paradise is right there for my picking, for my picking. I don't want to spend my whole life wishing. You will see your way, I'll see mine, I'll see mine. I hope you don't think it's a waste of time. These days, they pass me by. Strawberries in a mountain sky. The clouds are lifting and I've seen my way. I thank the Lord I found myself again. Paradise is right there for my picking, for my picking. Don't wanna spend my whole life wishing. You'll see your way, I'll see mine, I'll see mine. I hope you don't think it's a waste of time. Written in stone, and I see my name into your eyes. But nothing seems to change when I think I'm to love you. Now words written in stone, and I just sink my love to your eyes. But nothing seems to change when I think I'm a fool to love you. Think I'm a fool now. Written stone, and I see my
That was awesome,
Thank you.
man. We got to figure out the sound issue because the sound goes in and out. Maybe get like an external microphone or something. But I'm telling you, man, you have amazing skills. People that are watching this, right? You have no idea what kind of skill it takes to perform what he did, and I know because I try. This guy is amazing. Thank you, brother. That was awesome.
I appreciate that. It was a good time. I've had a good time.
Yeah, it's quite a blessing to know someone awesome like you, and I'm. It's an honor to be able to meet you and get to know you in person, and on top of that, share it with the world.
Absolutely. If people like me, if they like what they saw and heard today, they can find me in the world online on Facebook. I am Jamie Fox 1X. I've got a whole band with music. We have a whole album on YouTube for free on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, everything. The band is Mutt Farm, like On My Hands. I don't know if that's facing the right way. It might be backwards on the camera. But
Yeah,
Mutt like the dog, farm like the farm. Mutts because we're all mutts and this whole place is the farm. Find the triangle, find the paw print. You'll find me. We're not very hard to find. I try not to be hard to find. you know?
but well, hey man, if you ever come through Wisconsin, you feel free to stop by, man. I got a bunch of art. Are you into art at all? Painting or drawing?
Well, definitely I've painted and done it like I a little bit of a jack of all trades. I've done some wood burning, some painting, some drawing, all kinds of things. I like doing things. I'll send you some paintings that I've done that I think you might appreciate because I trust me, I've seen your art that you be doing online and that's all behind you. Trust me.
Yeah,
uh,
thank you, brother. Dude, I had an absolute blast. We got to do this again sometime soon. It would be an honor.
definitely. I appreciate you. I had a good time. I hope I kept these people entertained. I hope I wasn't too boring. I had a good time.
You were just perfect, brother. So I guess with that being said, like, subscribe, share. Don't forget that. Help share the love, spread it around the world, people. This is a platform for amazing people, and you're looking at them. So
Thank you.
have an awesome, wonderful, amazing everything.
You all have an amazing life and do good things in the world, do good things for yourself, do good things for others. Be the best you can be.
See ya.
Peace.
So